What's up everyone, ladies and gentlemen? The brand new season reset in Battle Royale mode in Bloodstrike is coming in just a few hours and actually has already arrived if you're in Asia. But a lot of people, like every single season, are going to try and go for that absolute top spot, the #1 spot for the badge in Bloodstrike. But not a lot of people actually know how to go about it or what to expect going into this grind. So in this video, I'm going to categorize a few things you guys need to know to go for that #1 spot. If you guys didn't know, across Battle Royale and Squad Fight, I've reached the top spot 4 separate times in this game. So I feel like I have developed over time some habits and some little techniques that I use during season reset that most people really wouldn't know about. So I'm here to give the tech and let you guys know how you can also reach the top spot with enough dedication in Bloodstrike Battle Royale. And the #1 thing you guys are going to have to prepare for is the mental side of things, because the season reset grind is going to be a battle between not only other people obviously, but also against time, against your body, against your reflexes, your focus. Assuming you're on a normal pace and you're winning, I would say 50 to 60% of your games, assuming you get max KP most of the time, the grind to Mythic can take anywhere about 15 to 20 hours alone. That doesn't even guarantee that you will reach #1 in that time frame. It just means just so you reach the Mythic rank and you're among some of the first in the server to do it, that's how much time it's going to take you. During that span of time, you're going to feel some very, very intense fatigue. You're going to feel your reflexes go away. You're going to feel that you are much more anxious and not really in the game all the time. You're going to have these things happen to you because of lack of sleep. That is, I want to say, somewhat normal, but that's something you have to expect. The grind to #1 can take anywhere from the first day, like I said, to several days. So you can spend probably several days just needing to grind for that #1 spot. So be ready to not only not be able to reach the top spot amongst the very, very first people, I want to say top 10 people on the server, but also not even top 100 or top 200 if you're not lucky with your games. It can take several days to nearly a week. That's how long my grind on Europe took. It took about 4 days of continuously grinding the game until I finally got that #1 spot. It was quite a tough endeavor, but these things can happen and you should expect it if you're trying to go for a #1 grind. On the subject of weapons, you don't really have to go for the brand new weapon that's going to come out, the Scorpion SMG. You don't really necessarily need to go for that. Just know with the metas that you're quite familiar with for now. M82, QBZ, Kar 98, double Glocks, you name them. What is already meta right now, just keep it on going into the new season, and will bode you well for most of it. During season reset, you're going to also fight a lot of other really, really sweaty players. You're going to find yourself in a lot of sticky situations, and what I can tell you is to play your cards correctly. For example, if you're playing Shutter Island quite consistently, you're going to want to find the bulk of your kills at the very beginning of the game, where the respawn cooldowns are so short that it is virtually impossible to get a full team wipe on that map. So just go in, throw yourself into the action, try to get 1 or 2 kills every single time that you respawn, and just build up that KP just so you don't have to worry about that in the end game, because it's going to be much, much harder to get picks there. And then just play the usual positioning cards, avoid fights as much as possible once you've secured your KP, and at least you'll be able to secure top 4, top 3 very easily and gain a fair amount of points every single game. When it comes to game modes, now I want to say the vast majority of people in a season reset tend to go into squads. Now there's a few reasons for that. It's because it's easier to win as a squad rather than a one-man solo situation. The game's responsibility just doesn't fall on one person, it falls on the entire team really, that can kind of save that person if they fail, and vice versa. If you have a cross-play player, that means a mobile player in your team, then it's going to be easier to find lobbies as well. There's a ton of advantages to being in a squad, but if you don't have that possibility, unfortunately, you're going to want to stick to solos for the time being, and then over time, once you can't really find any solos game anymore, once you reach the top ranks like Legend or Mythic, that's when you're going to want to change to Mythic. And for that, just feel free to add people who've added you throughout these matches that you've played already, and trust me, a lot more people accept to join your stack than what you may think. Or even just solo queuing into squads, even though that's going to be a very tough endeavor for you and your team, you're eventually going to find people who are going to invite you into your stack because they recognize that you grind hard and that you might be a valuable asset to your team. It happens all the time, probably way more than you guys might realize during a season reset. It's not only clans, it's not only stacked teams that run into these resets, it's a lot of people also trying to make their own teams here and there, picking up players that they run into left and right. So that happens a lot. Make sure to grab those opportunities, because there really is solid stacks that you can make out of that. And ultimately, it's for the better. But if you don't have that possibility, I would strongly suggest going to solos, because it's safer anyways. It's much more forgiving than the squad game mode is. If you reach top 6 or top 5, that's the same as reaching a top 3 in squads mode, and one is much less of a headache than the other. Every time I've gone into number 1, I've played a fair amount of solos until I basically couldn't, so it's a reliable strategy, and feel free to run that game mode if you guys don't really want to win squads. And finally, you're gonna want to play on every single map available. Now, I know that's something that not really a lot of people want to hear. No one really wants to play games consistently on Deserted Valley or Skyline Beach or whatever, but the truth is, if you truly are serious about going for that number 1 spot, you're gonna need to. Once you reach into these higher ranks, so I mean Mythic, Legend, etc., it's gonna be super difficult to find matches consistently if you're only queuing Shutter Island, because it's gonna be a very limited pool of players, and you're adding a filter that only selects a fair amount of people on top of that. So if you want to maximize your chances of finding games once you've already reached those high spots, or even below, there's nothing wrong with that, then you're gonna have to play on every single map, which again, I know no one really wants to do that, unfortunately, but you're gonna have to if you really want that number 1. And you may also learn to appreciate some of these maps as well as you're playing on them, because they're really not that bad. The last tip and advice that I will give for this video is that during the season reset, you might encounter a lot of hackers and cheaters and griefers, way more than you usually would in your normal games. And unfortunately, that's also the downside of playing during the season reset lobbies, because these people are quite prevalent. There's a lot of trading going on in the community for people to boost their accounts to number 1. They will kind of pay people left and right, and sometimes these people are gonna use methods that are quite unethical, unfortunately. It's gonna happen as well, so whenever you run into these people, just report and move on with your life, because they're not gonna get banned within the hour or so that you meet them. It's just not gonna happen. You're probably gonna have to deal with them for the entire duration of the reset, so kind of annoying, I will agree, but once again, nothing you can really do yourself apart from hoping these people are out of the game and wait for them to requeue before you requeue into another match yourself. Not much you can do about that, unfortunately. Once again, the season reset grind is mainly a mental battle, because you're gonna feel yourself wither as time goes on, but try to keep yourself chill as much as possible, but also don't drive yourself to the point of exhaustion. If you haven't reached number 1 yet and you genuinely feel like you can't go for it anymore, take a break, go to sleep or something. It's completely fine. Because you've been awake for so long, it's not even going to be guaranteed that your body's going to sleep for long anyways, because your brain will be so busy still thinking about everything that happened during your day. So just take a rest, go to bed. That's completely okay. Again, I managed to get number 1 after taking many breaks and after going to take many naps during my Europe grind, and I still managed to clinch that number 1. Yes, it did take several days, more than I wanted to, unfortunately, but I still managed to get it. So don't drive yourself to the point of exhaustion. Please stay safe, drink lots of water, don't get too much caffeine, because that also will break you eventually. And just try to stay safe while you achieve your goal, basically. That's basically it. If you guys have any questions or anything of that sort, please feel free to put them in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer any of you guys' advice. If you have any, let me know if you're planning to reach number 1 this season in the comment section down below. But in any case, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you need notifications on, and I'll see you in the next one.